Hey y'all, how you doing? Back again with another video, and it's on rear axles again. This time it's on the 9 1/4 Mopar and the 8 3/4 Mopar. Now, there are some of you that know that I have already taken out my 9 1/4 out of my '92 Dodge D150 pickup truck, and replaced it with an 8 1/4. Now that's normally not that good of an idea. But here's the situation. The 9 1/4, if you don't know, the 9 1/4 that was in my truck was the factory original rear end. I still have it. It's not going anywhere. I'm not getting rid of it. That's as simple as it gets right there. Okay? It's 355 geared, it's open differential. It's the factory setup. However, the pinion gears, the pinion bearings, the pinion bearing was making noise. One of them was. So it became, after 350,000 miles, it became a situation that I was going to have to go and I was going to have to rebuild the 9 1/4. Okay. Well, what do I have to drive in the meantime? I don't have anything to drive in the meantime. So I do have another rear end to put in my truck, hence the 8 1/4. Okay. So that meant I had to take the 8 1/4 out of another truck, another Dodge truck. It was an '89 model. Get it ready, get it prepped, put it in my truck. Now, yesterday, I put axle bearings in it. But now, and I've already made a video noting that I was going to rebuild the 9 1/4 and put it back in my truck. And I was going to use the 8 1/4 in the meantime. Well, here's what's happened. I've done some thinking, I've done some looking, and if you look right over there, standing upright, that right there, everybody, that is an 8 3/4 Mopar housing. Okay. Now, I have went and disassembled this housing. This is a 70, this is early 70s. I'm thinking, 73, 72, maybe even as far back as 71. This is from a Chrysler. It is the correct width for a truck like mine. Okay, not too bad. So, it is the correct width. The only downside to swapping this in my truck is I'm going to have to weld on the correct spring perches, because these are spring under, and my perches need to be up here on top of the axle. Okay, this is the top side right here. So my perches need to be on top here, so I need to have a spring over. Okay, now I could weld a plate on here, drill a small hole in the very center, and I could set this up where the axle is actually on top of the leaf springs in my truck. But there's not a whole lot of room to make all that work. Yes, that would lower the rear end of my truck quite significantly, and which would be cool, but it would also uh, basically make my truck unusable, which is not cool. Sorry about that. Had to scratch my upper lip. So what I'm going to do, the other issue is these axles, I have everything for this. These axles for this housing are only the 5 on 4.5 inch lug pattern, which means two things. I'm either going to have to run different wheels, or I'm going to have to run a wheel adapter. Now, I have wheel adapters on the Barracuda, and actually they do very, very good. And let me give you a little brief lesson about spacers and wheel adapters and all of that. Okay, let me show you. You see these are cast aluminum wheel adapters. lug pattern adapters, okay? I don't recommend people use these. They're cast aluminum. And if you keep them tight, keep the lug nuts torqued down and everything tight, and the mating surface is all flat and level and clean and everything, it's probably not a bad deal. But I'm just not a big fan of them. So I don't really recommend them. However, I've been using these here for a couple of years. This style now is a different animal altogether. This is the kind where it has the lug pattern. This is just a spacer, so it has the studs pressed into it. Okay, this is machined aluminum rather than cast. Okay, that is a far better setup than the cast aluminum. Okay, so I would probably have to use something like that versus just different wheels. Because if I use different wheels, then I'm going to have to say goodbye to my Mickey Thompson wheels, and that's not an option. Yeah, that's not cool with me. So, but I went and got the 9 1/4 out of storage. I was out here tinkering after work. Went and got the 9 1/4 out. Jerked the backing plates off because, and let me explain. The backing plates, why am I getting the backing plates off? Why would I be concerned about drum brake backing plates? What's the big deal? Right? There's no real reason, is there? I mean, not these days, with disc brake conversions and everything being what they are. Who needs drum brakes? Who the hell wants that? Well, you see, there's a problem. I don't mind telling you about it. Here's the problem. Sorry about that. I have 2 daughters that are in college. As you can imagine, that is not cheap. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? These are off the 9 1/4 right there. And they just slide right on, bolt right up. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's just wonderful. Love that. Now, like I said, why would I be doing this? Well, like I said, I have 2 daughters in college. Now, if I'm going to build this rear end right here, then I'm going to have to be frugal. I can't afford, chucking a big pile of money at something because I want to. That's just foolish. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use my resources and use these backing plates. Now, this axle came with backing plates, but the backing plates that came off of here were for a 2-inch wide by 10-inch brake drum setup. This is 2.5-inch by 11-inch. So a significant improvement. So I'm, I know it's drum brakes, but who cares, right? But hey, when you're putting this stuff together yourself, you do care. I know I do. I like to stop when I need to stop, But yeah, like I said, disc brakes are cool, and but they're more expensive too. They're going to add maybe another $200 to this entire deal. I know that's not a lot of money, but like I said, I've got kids in college, 2 of them at the same time. So you can imagine this whole deal needs to be very inexpensive. So what am I going to do? Well, I have another center section to fit this that is 355 geared, which is the correct gearing for that truck right there. So what I'm going to do is get it set up with the correct gear, get that center section rebuilt with the correct gear and everything like that. Knock these pads out, these knock these perches off, weld on the correct perches, and once they're welded on and that's all done, then I will probably also clean all this up, get all the rust off, paint it, make it look real pretty, and I will be using some of those adapter plates to go from a 4.5 inch bolt pattern to a 5 on 5.5 inch bolt pattern. I've already been looking at them. They're not tremendously expensive, and a lot of people are using spacer plates these days because it gets the wheel out away from the suspension and the steering and everything like that, and they're becoming very common these days. So now that's what I'm going to do with this. So that's what where I'm going to go. So anyway, but I just think it's just as neat as it can be that these backing plates for a 9 1/4 has the hole drilled already in there. See, when these are on the 9 1/4, they only have 4 bolts holding them on, or 4 studs and nuts. Now the 8 3/4 uses 5, so there you go. All right, so also let me point out one more little thing. The 9 1/4, even though it's great, it's a C-clip rear axle. Yep. So that means you have C-clips that you have to think about, that they wear down, and if you're not careful, they can fall out. So, matter of fact, right there they are. Okay. So, 8 3/4, not a C-clip rear axle. Let me show you. 8 3/4. Here we go. See, your bearings are down here. Okay. And there's your retainer that is pressed on behind the bearings. Then you have this plate, this steel plate with a seal in it that bolts up to the axle housing right there. Okay? All right, no big deal. So that's how that all works. So there's no C-clips in there. Matter of fact, there's not even a place for the C-clips to go on the end of this axle. As you can see right there. No place for them. So, all right. Okay, that's it for this video. I just wanted to show that off and, make that video, pass along a little more information, hopefully inspire a few of you, and hopefully educate maybe at least a few of you. If you got any questions, comments, ideas, anything, even creative criticism, put them down below. Okay, I'll do my very best to get back to you, and I do appreciate all of you viewers tuning in and watching. And please do give a thumbs up if you love these videos, like these videos, or if you just tolerate me. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and God bless.